Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's webinar. We're calling it Amazing Artificial Intelligence for Law Firms. We've got two very special guests. Justin Lovely is certainly the attorney I've come across who's the most advanced in terms of actually using AI in his practice. He's got some amazing tools and tricks he's going to share with us today with some live demos. And Filevine's futurist, Chris Smith, is going to walk us through how Filevine AI works. You can actually create demand letters and medical Chrons, and he's going to announce a few brand new Filevine products, AI products, that are coming out right here live today on the webinar. My name is Jay Berkowitz, and I'm just going to kick off with a short introduction, and then we'll get to the live demos. So, quick show of hands, maybe put a 1 in the chat. How many of you are using artificial intelligence already in your law firm? So 1 in chat, if you would. And how many people would be on the other hand of that, and they'd say they're sort of like technology challenged? Put a 2, maybe put a 2 in chat. I can't see your raised hands. And how many people are in the middle, or they just don't like raising their hands? Maybe put a 3 in chat. Okay, great. Thank you for playing along. And thank you for being here, because I want to congratulate you and thank you for making the time, because the fact is everybody's busy these days and everybody has lots of other things to do. But you're one of the people who cares about improving your business and using technology to move your law firm ahead. And you're one of the rock stars. I mean, professionals like us who spend time and learn this stuff and study it and teach it are the ones whose businesses are 1 or 2x or even 10x the people who don't move themselves ahead. Our mission today is to help you understand AI and ChatGPT, and some people still don't understand the difference, so we'll do that real quick. And then, as I mentioned, we'll share some real artificial intelligence tools you can use live today in your law firm. So we've moved past the theoretical stage. We've got real stuff that really works. We're going to have a demo of Filevine AI and some new announcements from them. And I'm just going to give you a quick introduction about myself and our guests before we get going. So I come from one of the coldest places on earth, Winnipeg, Canada. Looks like this about 9 months of the year. And then we got really lucky, my wife, Bonnie and Parker. We now live in Boca Raton, Florida. It's beautiful. We've been down here for 22 years. I've written 4 books. 2 of them were Amazon bestsellers. And my new book is coming out this year, Internet Marketing for Law Firms. Our company is called 10 Golden Rules, and we help law firms with their digital marketing, everything from building some beautiful websites, like some of these ones, and getting tremendous results. This is our client, Law Tigers. When we signed on with them, they had 4,000 keywords, and we're now up over 29,000 keywords listed in Google. So without further ado, I want to touch on ChatGPT, and I know there's still a few people out there who haven't used ChatGPT. I normally, in a live audience, get a show of hands. But really simply, this is an artificial intelligence tool, and it's one of many, many tools. But it's great for answering questions and doing tasks and doing simple things in the office. And Justin will show you a whole bunch more great ways to use this. But really simply, if you haven't used it before, you open it up, you create an account, and you say, do I need a car accident attorney if I was rear-ended? And you just type it in like you're typing it into a search engine. And what happens is in real time, the tool answers the question and it types out with this little black box. This is not a live demo. I took a screenshot, but it says if you were rear-ended in a car accident, it's generally a good idea to consult with a car accident attorney. They can help you understand your legal rights. In a rear end collision, it's generally the driver who is considered at fault. And it keeps typing it out and it says, get eyewitness statements and photos of the accident scene. And it gives you a really, really good answer to almost anything you ask in real time. So it's a very powerful tool. Why is it so popular? Well, Netflix took 3.5 years to get their first 1 million users. Twitter took 2 years. Facebook took 10 months. The previous winner was Instagram, 2.5 months. And ChatGPT grew to 1 million users in just 5 days. It spread like wildfire. And, in terms of where it is today, it's about the 17th most popular website on the internet. Google and YouTube are still the big boys, and it's a kind of double because Google owns YouTube. So where there's been a lot of hype about ChatGPT taking over Google, I would argue that Google still are by far and away our most powerful tool for law firms and law firm marketing and law firm research. So despite the hype and the enthusiasm for ChatGPT, it's still the 17th website, but that's incredible growth. Now, one heads up is it's not really ready for full-time lawyering unless you know what you're doing. And Justin's going to give us some tips today for strategies where you can use it properly. But this lawyer, Stephen Schwartz, had a case where his client claimed he was struck by a serving cart on an airline. And the airline asked the judge to dismiss because the statute of limitations had expired. The lawyer responded with a 10-page brief citing a half dozen court decisions like Martinez versus Delta Airlines and Zickerman versus Korean Airlines. Now, when he sent this to the defense, they couldn't find any of these cases. It turned out they weren't real. Mr. Schwartz, who'd practiced law for 30 years, learned about ChatGPT from his kids, and he thought it was some super search engine, and he didn't do his research to find out that these cases weren't real. So, take it as a bit of a warning. ChatGPT is an incredible tool, but it's not quite ready for full-time lawyering, and use the tools that Justin's going to share with you today, not the straight up lawyering. The other cool thing about ChatGPT is they now released an app. So this is just a screenshot of my phone. I said, please tell me about the law firm Hughes and Coleman, good friends of mine in Nashville and Bowling Green. And it gives us a great description. Hughes and Coleman is a personal injury firm, specialized in various areas, including auto accidents, social disability, wrongful death. They have multiple offices serving Kentucky and Tennessee. So it's right there on your phone now, this incredible app. But the last point I want to make is that ChatGPT is just one of hundreds of incredible artificial intelligence tools. I believe there's over 13 unicorns, which is AI companies worth over $1 billion in terms of their valuation. And Google has a competitor called Bard. Now, these are generative AI chatbots that answer questions just like I showed you a minute ago. But like I said, there's hundreds of tools, including several in the legal category, which are artificial intelligence tools that are just as incredible, and they're designed to do other tasks. Whereas ChatGPT just answers questions, we're going to show you a bunch of tools which do a bunch of other incredible things. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Justin, and he is going to take us through some incredible definitions. So Justin Lovely is based in Myrtle Beach, and he's been with the Lovely law firm for about 14 years. He was a corporate counsel before that, and he's got an incredible technology ability, and that's why we wanted him here today. So without further ado, please meet Justin Lovely.
Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. And let me share my screen. But yeah, before we even get started, yeah, you definitely don't want to be that guy in New York. I can't believe that guy did that. I mean, common sense tells you as a lawyer, whether you use a tool or you rely on an associate or a paralegal to do some research, you still want to print your cases, right? And you want to read those before you submit anything to court. So a caveat before we get into any of this is, as you said, Jay, these are all tools, something that can enhance your productivity, save you time and money, which is what I will show you. But don't solely rely on what this AI will spit out, because as it is getting better and better, it still can sometimes what they call hallucinate and can get wild on you real quick. So, and even in some of these examples that I've prepared, I'm going to kind of show how that could happen. And what may appear to be correct, when you really deep dive and look into it, you can see where there's some discrepancies in the truth. And then one more thing, just to touch on what you just said, Jay, is you're right. Google still rules the world, right? So they're still slowly, coming out with what they're really gonna show to the world. And then Apple is about to come out with something crazy too to compete with all this. But this is going to totally change the way everybody does business. If you have not been using any of these tools, you've been living under a rock for the last year, and it's going to totally change the game of being a lawyer. And I've presented this presentation before with other groups or presentations that I've been involved with. You know, the lawyers who do not leverage this technology, they're going to get left behind, and they're going to be playing catch up, right? Trying to add this into their operations. So I've been fortunate to kind of identify what are some quick wins that have saved me money and that we can share that with the world. And then other ways and things that we're constantly testing. And then one last thing, and I'll get into it. You're right, Jay, who's going to win, right? Everybody's popping up. There's unicorns popping up. This guy says he can do this. There's 5 people who copy it. So it's kind of like people have mentioned the word bubble. And I believe that's true. Who's going to win and who's going to finally, win the AI game for a particular skill set. Let's see here. All right. Can we see this? Are we good?
Perfect. Crystal clear.
All right. Excellent. So how we use AI in our office. And what I'm going to do, everyone, is if you want these slides, anything from me, there's my email, justin@justiceslovely.com. Email me. I'll help you any way that I possibly can. We're going to go through this, and then I'm going to jump into some live demos on the software and tools that I mentioned. And it'll be, a lot of this will make more sense when you see it. And hopefully we got some good questions, and we can kind of brainstorm, and I can come up with some new ways to use this myself. But I'm going to present this as problems and then solutions that we solve in our office. And I'm going to kind of start as basic and then kind of get more advanced to kind of not blow everybody away, because people who have not been using this at all, it kind of goes over their head, and it's kind of hard to kind of comprehend all this. But one-offs, what I call one-offs is, I do personal injury, workers' comp. So, we always have people who are maybe good referral sources, and they want some transactional legal work done, right? And that, we want them to come to us, and so we're their trusted legal advisor. We want to keep that referral relationship, but we don't want to do damn transactional work, right? And so what happens is you try to do it yourself, or you'll waste time, trying to get an associate to do it, or you'll refer it out and possibly lose your referral source, or worse, you do it yourself, and you're wasting your time. You don't need to be wasting your time on any of this transactional legal work. So ChatGPT prompts. Anybody who's doing transactional work, if they're not leveraging this AI stuff now, I mean, I think transactional lawyers are done over, they're going to slowly sort themselves out. What I mean by that is, wills, contract lawyers, for the basic stuff. I mean, you'll still need lawyers for the complex advice, but I think everybody who's trying to dabble in this stuff they're toast as far as transactional. But this is just something that came in our office. I needed 2 landlords were fighting. One was a referral source. And I simply asked it, hey, can you draft a release and indemnity agreement between 2 landlords that address these issues? And before I even started telling it what the issues were, it starts spitting out a release, right? Then we give it specifics, which in this case, they were arguing over, they were installing a pool, okay? And boom, it simply spits out the whole agreement. And so what we were able to do is simply copy and paste this into Word. You need to review it, right? But you're 95% there. And this is happening within seconds. So transactional work for these one-off transactions that you may see, and I'm not sure who else watching this, maybe they are transactional lawyers. You can really, really leverage and get your practice going. Another problem is, so that's just kind of starting out, that's basic stuff. So transactional work, easy documents, quick documents, ChatGPT can do that no problem. The next thing is unique content ideas. So anybody who's trying to advertise, you've got to figure out how can you set yourself apart with a video, with a podcast, with a blog post. And so the old way is you can, of course, data mine, Google. You can research on your own trending topics. Of course, you should always be seeing what your competitors are doing. Or you can use tools like Answer the Public and try to just use that to kind of scrape everything for you to give you a head start. But the problem with that is that takes time and effort and money. ChatGPT solves all that. And we'll go through this. I love using this. And I use this I don't know if anybody follows me or has seen me speak or is on my social media. We're constantly cranking out content on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. We're on Snapchat, Pinterest. We're doing it all. So, coming up with this unique stuff is key to always staying ahead and thinking of new things, or how can I say that differently? So it's simply a 3-step prompt that we use. Write me 10 unique topics about, in this scenario, we say personal injury, and we can plug and play any topic that we want. It will instantly kick this out, right? So there's your topics. The next step to the prompt, write me 3 unique questions for each topic, 1 through 10, number them in bullet points. And so now you can see we've got our topic and we're getting our separate questions, right, on these topics. The third prompt, create me a table. People don't realize that ChatGPT can create tables. Create me a table with the following columns and just tell it what you want. Date with date by, so I put August through 31st for this presentation, your topic and your question that it's already produced for you. And it will instantly click this out. Then all you got to do is simply put this in a spreadsheet, sit in front of a camera. And if you're like me and you can talk off the cuff, that's great. And you're good to go. But if you're scared or you're just getting into video, you know, you can even go a step further and ask it to put this question and write you a script. So, I mean, it's insane. Now, when so then you'll have your videos, right? So now you know what to talk about. You've got you a content calendar for the whole month. Now what you got to do, we're using YouTube for this instance, you got to do this back-end optimization. And anyone who knows that or has been using YouTube knows that's a time suck. It takes a lot of time. You got to say, you know, what is my topic? What's the description? What's a good headline? You got to make sure that you got your keywords in your description. You got to make sure your tags are right. And you got to do that for each video, each time you upload. And you can make some standard upload defaults in YouTube, but still when you're talking about different topics, for instance, maybe I'm doing a workers' comp series, then I'm doing a dog bite series, then I'm doing a slip and fall series. You need to go in there to make sure those are going to show up to your, you know, hopefully your target audience by using these tags and using this description. So how do you do that? ChatGPT. You simply just ask it, write me an SEO optimized description for a YouTube video titled, you know, whatever your video is about. And in this example, I did a video about children and animals left in hot vehicles, and it simply spits it out. And then we can copy and paste that into the back end of YouTube. Can you make tags for the same video? So we use vidIQ for my YouTube, and that's great. But a lot of times, sometimes it won't tell you all the possible tags that would be good for that. So ChatGPT, obviously it knows it's stored all the internet, it's stored everything in there, and it can quickly kick out all these tags that you can use for your metadata on the back end of your YouTube videos. And again, simply copy and paste, and then you're ready to schedule your video. This saves us a lot of time. People thought this was crazy when I told them this, but my 12-year-old son is running my YouTube channel now. So that's how easy it is if you can leverage ChatGPT. And of course, he's been dragging because he's out of school for the summer. He wants to go play and go swimming every day instead of work by YouTube. So I'm trying to get him to work. The next thing is you should all have a podcast. We do a podcast, the Carolina Justice Report. You can subscribe and listen to that. And we do like true crime coverage. And we'll talk about, you know, one-off mass torts, stuff that kind of stays interesting. But that back end is just like back end on YouTube, and it's a time suck. Just like you got to, find your topic, manually write your description, your show notes. You have to make sure all those are optimized and you got your links in there. So you have to do that for each podcast. So on your in your podcast server, you need to be able to go on the back end and fix this. And this another time saver, just like we're doing YouTube with ChatGPT. You can simply have this prompt: create formatted podcast show notes that are SEO optimized for, put your keywords in there. That's about this. And then what I do is I insert some of my transcript. Now, the limitation to this is you can't, if you have a very long podcast, you can't just put the whole damn transcript in there, or it's just not going to generate, or you're not going to have enough room. But if you we've been doing this, and if you put, 1,000 words in there, ChatGPT is so smart, it can figure out by summarizing, it'll figure it out what the whole podcast is going to be. The only downside we found with this strategy is if I'm doing sometimes I'll do current events on my lives and I'm talking about different things, that will kind of give me a wonky back end with my description. But if I'm on one topic, and for this one, what were we doing? We were doing things they don't teach you in law school for this. If you're talking about one topic, it's great. It can kick it out nice and easy. And then again, you simply copy and paste into your podcast server. It even tells you the title, what they don't teach you in law school, description, keywords we were focusing on, and then there's your show notes. Because you want to get people to clicking on that, even though they've subscribed to you. You want that to show up, when people are searching through the podcast platforms, and then quickly tell them what it's about if they're clicking in before they listen. Okay, switching modes, training and retraining. And I am really going hard on this because I think this is awesome. And we've all struggled with this coming out of COVID, is how can we find a good paralegal and get them up to speed, okay, and not have assumptions that they're going to be good. We need to train them. We're all terrible at this. And then when we're using our outsourced labor, like I've got a team in Mexico, I've got a team in the Philippines, how do we get them up to speed with a language barrier? Okay. The way you do that is training, right? And have a good training protocol. And again, this is a time suck, right? If they're shadowing your good paralegals, you want them to shadow so they get good habits, but your paralegals, they want to produce, or at least mine, they're dialed in. So if they teach you something once and you're coming back, they kind of don't want to deal with you again. And I'm sure that's happened. And that takes a long time to get somebody new up to speed. We have in-house modules that we train on PowerPoint, but we still have people who have to do that for them and train them. And then, of course, everybody should be quizzing them and testing these people. So coming up with the standardized quiz, coming up with the questions and the answers, that takes time. And then, of course, if you don't figure it out the first time, you're having to go reshadow and just getting people up to speed. And so what that leads to is frustration, right? Because you hired somebody and maybe it's not that they're not catching on. We're not adequately spending the time to train them and make sure that they're up to speed and understand the lovely law firm way or the Jay Berkowitz way. So the solution, again, is ChatGPT. It's great at making these little quizzes unique to the problem that the paralegal's having during the training process. So we use these to develop our standardized tests, and it's good at true, false, and it's good at multiple choice. But we also, when we figure out that a employee is struggling with a particular issue, we can put that specific data in ChatGPT and ask it to give me a unique test based off that problem that particular employee is having. Because standardized tests, I mean, that might be standard for everybody, but what's the problem that this person's having? And remember, everybody learns in different ways. Do you have to hear it? Do you have to do it? Do you have to see it? And doing this allows you to say, hey, is something wrong with the way we're training? Is something wrong with the employee? I mean, what is it? Do I need to coach them or coach them out? What is it? Coach them up, coach them out. So very easy. I have a paralegal, and you can say intake specialist or whatever role you want. You can type this in here, but I have a paralegal struggling with the following concept, and then just insert your concept. Can you develop a multiple choice question test to test on this topic, and then tell it how many questions you want? And so for this scenario, we have a stacking module in South Carolina. That's always a hard topic. What is stacking? They don't get it when we understand it. Sometimes I don't get it, if a policy is crazy. So, we can just simply put this in with this prompt. And then now you have your test. So what is the primary purpose? Boom. Which type of insurance company can be stacked? And it just simply spits this out. So that's great for us to put back in our learning platform. Our learning platform that we're using in our office is Thinkific. So we've developed the lovely law firm University, and we've really, I really came to the conclusion that, hey, AI has allowed me to remove some positions that we had, because my high producing paralegals are able to leverage these tools. So then the next question is, we're getting more and more cases. We want to scale this thing up, right, and keep that productivity. And so, we've developed that whole. This is kind of getting off topic from AI, but this is a way you can use a learning platform, leverage AI to augment a tool you're using to help grow your firm. All right, demands. So the old way, everybody knows this is a cog in everybody's system, right? Demands. Once that client reaches MMI, we got to get that damn demand out the door. Time is money. We're losing money every second. So, what takes time? Well, are you waiting on your paralegal to draft it if that's what you're doing? Well, they're delayed with the MedCron. That's what takes the most time. Are you waiting on your attorneys to edit it? Okay, because they're double checking what the paralegal work was. Or of course, are you outsourcing that MedCron? And you know that if you're hiring a nurse, and you know, I still do that on something very complex like a med mal or a nursing home case. But on your average run of the mill car wreck case, where it's, you know, you've got ER, you've got maybe physical therapy, and then you're going back to the ortho to get released, and that's it. That's the case. You need to move those cases out the door, right? Well, ChatGPT for medical records extraction, that it's a great thing. Here's your prompt. So starting off with this, you can get very basic with it. And again, this starts where I was first talking to. If you need a basic document where you're not going to go into detail, just ask it. Write me a demand letter for a personal injury case. Meds 25,000. We're demanding 100,000. It'll kick that out, right? You shouldn't practice law this way, though. Everybody knows everything's ran by algorithms now. You got to have diagnosis codes, treatment codes. If you're not addressing that with a good punitive liability paragraph, and hopefully your state has a bad faith law that you can try to put leverage and try to open a policy, you're doing a disservice to your clients. But I put this in here just to say, hey, if you need to just do something simple and quick, if you're a solo maybe and you're getting bogged down, this is the way to do it. The better way, though, is to get that MedCron, because that's the time suck I've found in my office is, as far as getting the demand done, is the medical chronology. So the key to it, you got to make sure you have OCR medical records. And, you know, Chris will probably touch on this, but we use Docs Plus with Filevine. So our stuff's OCR'd when it comes in. And simply, it's a copy and paste job to summarize a medical record. Now, one more caveat before I say this. Don't put, if you're copy and pasting, make sure your paralegals aren't doing this. Don't be putting personal information in there, okay? Just put what you need summarized. So don't be putting social security numbers, because you're going to, if you do that, you're going to be the next guy from New York who's going to get his ass busted, right? And slowly but surely, we're probably, Jay, you'll probably do another one of these on ethics of this, right? Because that's going to be the next wave coming through everybody's bars is ethics of utilizing these tools. So yeah, so can you summarize this medical record, insert the text from the medical record, and it will simply kick that out for you. Excuse me, this is the output. So it's telling you, kind of summarizing what we put in. The next thing you need to say is, can you pull out diagnosis codes? Okay. And it's just simple. That's all you ask it. Can you pull out diagnosis codes? Yes, the diagnosis codes are here. So this is a sprain and strain, a soft tissue case. But if you just send a demand and don't put this, you're going to get stuck in Colossus, right? And you're not going to be getting all these value drivers that could open up other windows and add value to the case. Treatment codes. So the third step to it, can you pull treatment codes out? Yes, they're treatment codes. So that's how they were treated based off that one document. So how we're using it, and is they can go in, it's a time-saving tool for my paralegals when they're getting the demand prepped. Whereas they would have to, in the past, read everything, summarize it, go back and find this and find that. They're using this as a tool to kind of speed along that process to get that demand done. Now, virtual teams can also do this. So we have as they come in, we're having our Philippines team and our Mexican team do the same thing. They're working on this for us, and then our paralegals are reviewing it, and then the lawyers triple reviewing it. One more step on this. So you had, and I'm sure Chris will talk about this too, but Filevine's coming out with AI fields. They're coming out with the AI demands. You've got EvenUp that's out doing this. And basically they've automated this process. You've got EvenUp, and then a tool that we're using is SettLIT. And we're using that for different ways, but they also have this MedCron procedure. So we're leveraging that tool as well as, you know, this manual entry on the lower value cases to move those along. All right. So again, ChatGPT, it's all about the prompts. Okay. Content calendar, I went over that. YouTube, podcast backend, the testing, and then this medical records extraction. If you need more prompts, you're saying, Justin, how do I prompt this stuff? Now, if I'm thinking of other ideas, there's this cool website called PromptBase, and it can give you like a head start on ways that it may not be for legal, but it may be like a document creation. There's some images prompts in there for Midjourney. And you can buy these prompts. People are selling prompts like $1, $2, $3. And literally you can say, hey, I could use that for X. I could use that for Y, either in marketing or management. And you can buy the prompts and then just change them around a little bit. And then now they're part of your prompt system moving forward. We also use this. I didn't do a slide on this, but we use ebooks and lead magnets, where you would have a graphic designer or a marketing company want to charge you, $5 to 10 grand to develop a lead magnet, which is really just graphic design and putting information in there with infographics. Go on my website and look at my ebooks. My latest mesothelioma book, 100% AI. So real quick to get that. And that's anybody who's not using that strategy, you should do that. Downloads and then follow-up campaigns with these email drips. That's a great way to get leads and chase them and get some cheap cases. All right. But that's just the start. Okay. Let's see if this works.
You have to use your mind. Come up with some really great idea like that, and you can make millions, never have to work again.
Cool. Did you do that? There you go. Little clip, making sure my audio works. All right. So investigating, this is a problem we have, and I'm sure we all have this. You have a large PI case and you're trying to find some insurance, whether are they operating within the scope of employment so we can get to a commercial policy, or are they drinking and driving? Okay, so we can get to a commercial. If you got dram shop in your case, we got great dram shop in South Carolina where we get $1 million if we can prove it. And if we can find multiple bars, we get multiple $1 million policies. And of course, if they're hurt bad, you can't count on them to have an insurance because it's going to be $25,000 a minimum policy. Hopefully they have UIM, but it's never enough, right? So if you can find these big commercial policies, you can really maximize your value and move the needle for the client and move the needle for your firm. So what do? Well, you also need to preserve evidence, right? So you might hire a private investigator. That's going to cost you money, okay? Serious cash, because when they're sitting on somebody, they'll charge you by the hour. You might have them get charged criminally, right? Well, they're going to lawyer up, and a good criminal defense lawyer is going to tell them to shut down social media, right? Close it all off. Don't talk to anybody. Or what we have in our state, which is the worst, and I don't know why. I'm trying to get this law changed in South Carolina, but I don't know why these criminal prosecutors, they refuse to help an injured person until the at-fault guy has pled guilty. Well, how does that help us preserve evidence? It does not. You can't rely on them. While you want a conviction in some of these cases, we have the burden of proof. We want to preserve evidence as fast as possible so we can pop those big cases. All right. So what's the solution to that? So that's facial recognition software. All right. So what I found, well, let me play this here.
Can I get a little price here?
Let's see here. Privacy's gone, by the way. So there is no privacy. Facial recognition, this little tool called PimEyes, okay? We use this. And PimEyes will allow you to upload a picture, and it will show you wherever this person is around the whole internet. It's crazy. So it's looking at all these different data points on your face, and it's comparing it wherever they can find. So I uploaded this picture of me, and it pops up, or uploaded this picture of me, excuse me. And it uploaded, said, hey, this was one of my old photographers, had me on his website. This is 26 results on Instagram. That's another picture on the website. And I'll run through a live demo of this, and you'll see how powerful this tool is. This is a new associate of mine, so we wanted to hire her. And I want to say, where is she at? Well, so we did this post hire, but she's on our website. She's on Instagram. She's wherever that's going to load up. It'll make more sense when I click into the software. So how are we using this? Well, like we said, litigation, or early on, we want to figure out where they're at. Where's this at-fault person so we can locate big policies? And we were able to actually, in one case, using this cool tool only costs, I think, $50 a month. We were able to locate, we had a at-fault driver who shut down her social media, so we couldn't figure out where she was drinking. We had a criminal defense lawyer who was not helping us. We had a prosecutor who was not helping us. And, we want to preserve that evidence, whether that's video or, credit card receipts. We were able to put that face in there, find someone else she was drinking with, and then go to their social media. And basically we backdoored and were able to develop a timeline, to where I could then send my private investigator, start talking to these people who we've located through a social media search. And magically we find a bar, we sent a letter of rep. Now we had $1 million policy. They literally tendered that when we sent the ER bill. So, I'm all about this now. Another way we're using it is back to hiring. You can research if anybody has anything lingering on the internet that could harm or embarrass your firm. Because the worst thing you could do is hire somebody and, 6 months into it or a year into it, you find something very, very bad, right? And then what are you going to do? You're stuck, right? And you're going to have to deal with that fallout. So that's PimEyes, and we'll do a live demo of that. For those, I put this in here, eye tracking is crazy with NVIDIA chips. If anybody's really techie on here, if you get the key to it is having one of these powerful NVIDIA processors. You have to have a GeForce RTX or a Quadro or a Titan or higher. And that's why NVIDIA stock, anybody who was invested in NVIDIA, your money's popped. You made some money over the last 6 months. And this is why. These processors, to be able to move this AI stuff in real time, is they got to be big mega processors. So if you can even get, if you watch this link, I'll put it in here, but you can basically, I could be looking over here and going live with an NVIDIA computer, and it looks like I'm looking right at you. It's crazy. So how's that good for a lawyer? Well, if you're nervous in front of a computer, you've just done your content calendar, you've got your scripts, you can literally be reading it over here off camera, and nobody watching live would ever know the difference. It's creepy. It's wild. That's NVIDIA broadcast. Okay, another problem, intake. You have potential clients who shop around. I know we've all had this. I need to talk to my wife. Well, let me, I want to be honest with you. I'm talking to a few firms. Well, you want your intake people to be able to try to overcome that and seal the deal on the first call. But inevitably, they're going to want to talk to a lawyer if it's a bigger case, right? And then that needs to be a scheduled phone call. Or the intake will be chasing them, right? So how do you close them? What can give you an edge? Well, that's Crystal. So Crystal is a tool that we use. And basically it's using AI with the DISC assessment test to leverage data from LinkedIn to kind of give you a heads up. And so your sales teams are using this. And that's kind of where I figured this out. I went to a lot of different masterminds, and I was in one that was non-legal, and this guy was telling about his sales AI tool. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. This is awesome. We can use this for law firms. So we've got our intake specialists using this, and then I've got my lawyers having it as well. But basically you can put in somebody's, I don't know if y'all know Ken Hardison. For this slide, I put him in there. You can go to somebody's LinkedIn profile. Crystal will pop up as a Google plugin, and it will tell you how to communicate with that person, what to say, what not to say. It'll tell you what their expected behavior is, what to say in an email. If you're meeting with them, what fires them up, what stresses them out, and if you're talking to them in person. So this is wild.
Cool. This is fire, by the way, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, this is money.
Yeah.
And it's only, what's it cost, Jay? It's like $500, man. You can add team members to it. I mean, it's for a year. I mean, it's nothing. But that's crystalknows.com. I should have put a damn link up here. Got an affiliate link out here. You should have done it, Jay. Right. But everybody, if you get anything from here and you say, man, ChatGPT, I don't want to use that, go to Crystal, man. Spend the money. If you don't have $500, say, hey, Justin, loan me 500. I'll lean up on one of your cases. But it's so we're using it for obviously new business, right? But also new hires, right? Who are these people? And who are they really? And how can you question them? So you should be testing new hires anyway. We're also using it for opposing counsel where we don't have a relationship with them. So let's say we file a lawsuit and some new name pops up on a defense file. Okay, well, how can we mess with this guy when we get to the negotiation phase? Or if you have a new adjuster pop up, like a litigation adjuster or something that you don't know how they work when we're getting like mediation, for instance. Mediators too, if they want to name a new mediator, you don't have a relationship with them, you can throw their stuff into Crystal Knows and it will stick out and kind of tell you some tips to give you a heads up. And it's wild how accurate this is. It really is. The only limitations, they got to have that LinkedIn account. So that's the one limitation. So in the hiring process, like if we're hiring for like an intake specialist and they've never, maybe they're just maybe a fresh kid out of school and they don't really have that professional profile built up yet. There are some limitations to that, but seasoned people, lawyers, they've all got LinkedIn, right? So you'll be able to use this. Voice clones. Descript. So if you're a guy that goes, you don't want to pay an editor, you can use Descript. It's pretty cheap too. You basically will shoot your video, upload it, and as simple as clicking in and editing that out like you would a Word doc and clicking save, it shifts the video. It's pretty wild. Voice clones as well. I started playing around with this, but it's very, very scary. And of all the things, this kind of scared me. I didn't want my voice getting out. I do use it for some things, but if you're going to choose to go this route, 11 Labs is the way to go. And the problem is really somebody could copy my voice from YouTube and make it, clone it anyway. So, who knows what the future holds as far as protections, if people are like calling and pretending they're me to like my clients. I mean, that kind of scares me. And you'll see how creepy it is here when I demo some of this. Here's how we're using it though. If you're in an urban area, like maybe New York, Philly, Miami, you're going to have English speaking clients, but you also have Spanish, you might have Russian, you might have, Portuguese communities. We have down here in Myrtle Beach. I mean, it's big. It's either Spanish or we got a lot of Russian kids that come over to work in the tourist industry and they end up staying. So we have those big communities, but obviously all of our clients don't speak English. We have limited marketing budgets. So we'll spend all this time, all this effort shooting all this in English. And you're forgetting that, hey, we have these other clientele that we need to kind of target to get more of those cases. They need lawyers too. And then also if they do sign with you, communicating is difficult. So if we're trying to explain like legal issues, how do we communicate in their language? So what I've found is this artificial intelligence video dubbing. This shit's wild. But Rask is the tool that I found. I found this is the best. And it's obvious it was the #1 product of the day on Product Hunt. And when I started using it, I saw quickly why. I mean, it's wild. I think it's $1 a minute to use. So it's pretty cheap. And you've all heard me talk, right? Everybody's heard my redneck Tennessee accent, right? So I can't get rid of that. But look how wild that transfers my same accent to Spanish.
El encantador bufete de abogados Injury Lawyers maneja casos de lesiones con una tarifa de contingencia, así que no te cobramos nada a menos que ganemos. Por lo tanto, nuestros honorarios nunca se cobran ni se facturan hasta que resolvamos el caso. También adelantamos los costos del caso y asumimos el riesgo si se pierde el caso. Tampoco nos debe costos. Esto permite que las personas que no puedan pagar la tarifa por hora de los abogados o el dinero inicial para los gastos del caso tengan acceso a un equipo legal completo y en última instancia a la sala del tribunal. Es fair.
So anyway, I mean, that's Justin's voice clone in Spanish. That's just crazy to me. So we're using that to kind of our most trafficked pages on our website, which we have in Spanish anyway. We're basically putting videos. We also have Abogado Lovely that we're slowly building out as well to kind of leverage that. But Rask can pick more than that. They can do Russian, they can do anything, and we'll go into that. Am I good on time? I know I'm hogging the time here. Let me keep going. Personalized video at scale. All right. This stuff is awesome. I'm testing this. I've used it. It's not as clean as it keeps getting better, but it's kind of weird with the mouth on Be Human. And basically what it means is I can shoot one video. Hey, thanks for sending me a referral in April. We appreciate you always thinking of us when your loved one needs help. And then we can upload a spreadsheet and it can say, hey, Jay, hey, Chris, hey, Jenna, as simply as uploading a CSV. And what I mean by the AI is not really there. It's kind of weird with my mouth. And if you test this, it's only $40 a month. I recommend everybody just go out there and mess around with it. It's getting better, but it's not up there yet. But we're testing, saying happy birthday to past clients, thanks for the referral, and case phase updates. And so instead of me having to shoot, 1,000 videos, I can shoot it once, upload my current case first name list, input that little merge field, and it will zip out all those videos. Tavis is another one. They do have a superior AI, but it's more expensive and it's still not there. So just keep that in mind. It's on the horizon, and just imagine how easy that is and how great your customer service and how many more Google reviews you're going to be when they can hear, hey, Justin always said thank you. Justin was always involved, even though I'm really not. It's a spreadsheet. and building referrals. I mean, you want to think, if you're not thinking your referrals, I mean, they might refer you one. Are they going to refer you two? Maybe not. If you have long form content, another problem here is cutting those up into TikToks. So you can upload this video.ai and it gives you like an hour a month for free. I mean, that's all the TikToks you really need. Upload your long form, it'll chop it up for you. And then you got your TikToks. You don't need a video editor. So that's another cool tool we use. So the key to all this, and it is automating it, right? So this is all cool, but it still requires some manual effort. So the more you can automate, and we got different bots doing stuff in-house. We use Zapier a lot. We've testing new automation with this company called Make. But if you can automate all this, I mean, you can really, really supercharge your workflow. And so we're using a lot of this to, and I'm sure people on here have used Zapier. I mean, everybody knows about that. I mean, it can save a lot of time. But you can overlay these bots on top of your AI and I mean, really go wild with this stuff. So will this replace lawyers? No, but the ones who leverage this, I mean, you're going to replace the lawyers who don't, 100%. I believe in that. I think transactional lawyers are toast unless they are using this. PI, you can really do a lot more, many more cases with less. You can empower. This is another benefit. You're empowering your main core paralegal team to become little mini managers using AI and then your offshore team. And that's really, they appreciate that, you know, because they're like, wow, Justin trusts me enough to make me a manager of an AI platform as well as managing an offshore team. That's great. And for business owners, for lawyers, we're getting more production for less money. So, and again, if we can keep leveraging, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, right? But I was one of the first to kind of really get this going and, you know, kind of show what I'm using it. And again, there's tons more tools, tons more ways to use all these. I appreciate all your South Carolina referrals. If y'all need help in South Carolina, let me know. Statewide, we have offices in Myrtle Beach, Florence, and Goose Creek for the Charleston market. Justin at Justice is lovely. Leave me a Google review. Get your phone out right now and scan this. I'm going to put this slide back up. But now that ends this boring presentation. Let's get into the tools, man. All right, I'll start in ChatGPT if I can find where I had it opened. And just want to show you, hey, you know, I have a paralegal. This is the multiple choice testing. I have a paralegal struggling with the following concept: depositions. Can you develop a multiple choice question test to test on this topic? Give me 2 questions, and it will fire out, you know, 2 questions you could test on. If I want 3 more, certainly. So literally you can fire this out, because if you think about it, you're probably going to give this to an ops girl and you're going to say, hey, figure out these questions, or give it to an associate, figure out these questions so we can test our paralegals. They're going to take so much time trying to figure this out. You know, what should we put as A, B, C, D? Are they going to make it too simple? Think about how much time this saves. Now, what we need to do is reread these. Is it too hard? Does it make sense? And tweak it. Even if they mess up, it's going to save us time from getting this going, getting this implemented. YouTube, write me a YouTube SEO optimized description of a video titled "Who Should Not Ride a Motorcycle." I mean, it's even putting emojis in there. This is crazy. It's giving me the tags. So the only thing that's weird is, you know, I took that out, but I'll jump over here to YouTube real quick, and here's my video. There's what I just put in there. You know, we edited a little bit, and we're in business, right? We're ready to save and publish. I touched on drips. So follow-up sequences. I don't know if everybody's familiar with the term drip, but a follow-up sequence, just like you're trying to chase them with crystal, you want to chase these people with drips. And you'll have companies that want to build this out on your email platform. We use LawDroi, we'll build it out. They'll want to charge, these consultants will charge an arm and a leg to develop these damn emails and then put them up in there. But all you got to do is tell it, hey, act as an intake specialist for personal injury law firm. We have a potential client who wants to try and handle the case themselves. How many times do we hear that objection? Write a 10-week email follow-up campaign to send to this potential client weekly, add calls to action. And so it'll burn this out. And then all you got to do is copy and paste into your email platform and then set the triggers, right? Week 1, week 2, or if you want to make it quicker. I mean, this is in real time. Man. It's crazy. Same thing. I want a 10-day follow-up. Let's see that on a motorcycle case. They don't want to pay attorney's fees. Write these and stress the value add attorney's fees can add to your motorcycle case. And, some of these will spit out, pretty thin, right? But I mean, simply copy and pasting that gives you a head start, and then you can type in, fill in the gaps and make it a more thorough email, or you can add pictures, you can add video links. But this has always been a time suck on my marketing side, was these drips. It's easy to come up with a general drip, but the more personalized you can get it and just throw it into your CRM, I mean, you can't beat it. All right, just wanted to show you this. So write me 10 unique topics about auto accidents. Fires it out. Write me 3 unique questions for each topic, 1 through 10, with your bullet points. I mean, it's just, and this is so fast when it rips it out. Create me a table with the following dates. Topic, question. There's my table for my videos. So now I've got a content calendar. And if I wanted a script, write me an SEO optimized script for each question. It said, hey, here's the first 3 questions. And so if you're somebody who doesn't want to think off the cuff or talk off the cuff on a video, or throw these in a teleprompter, and there's your content. Give me 3 more. I mean, this is next level. It's crazy. So that's ChatGPT. I mean, everybody can play around with this. It's all about the prompts, right? And everybody, is trying to say, hey, what prompts do you use? We try to have our team. We say, hey, who can come up with the best prompt this week? And let's talk about it at our huddle, right? Because then we can say, hey, maybe that's something cool, or hey, don't do that anymore. Or better yet, hey, that's something great we can all use, right? Okay. PimEyes. So you upload, this is PimEyes. We can upload a picture. I put Jay up here, right? In this one photo. I just found that off Google, Jay. And here's where you're at, man. You're over here, you're down here. I don't even know if that's really you. That's you. I mean, if Jay was somebody who sent me he wants to be an associate attorney, well, I'm going to look into this guy. Is there anything weird on here? And we found some, not on you, Jay, but we found with some people who sent us resumes, we found some wild stuff. So this is only like $50 a month. It's cheap. I mean, look at all this. I mean, it's finding your face. And it's telling me, so if I click in here, like, what is this? I click in here. It's whatever this, some weird YouTube knockoff, Invidious, whatever that is. So it's telling you the little link where that lives. PubCon. If you talk about PubCon before, I guess. Yep. Yeah. So yep. PubCon's got you there. So you can see the value if, we found you in college, pounding a bunch of beers. I mean, hey, whoa, was that last week or was that 20 years ago? We didn't figure that out, right? There's you in Florida Weekly. So this tool's awesome.
Thank God for me, college was before internet. So when I got in trouble, none of it was on capture.
Yeah, me too, man.
It was like Vegas.
Right.
No.
But I mean, you can see the power, right? And this doesn't have to be the client. This can be somebody with the client. This can be a witness to a case. Maybe the defense says, hey, I got this witness. We'll take a picture of his ass at the deposition and throw him into PimEyes and impeach his ass, right? So we're using this. We love this. Rask. Let me go into this real quick. So here's that video I showed you, right? That's in English. Well, I just threw that up there. Let's see if it'll play. Let me, I might have to refresh. Let's see.
¿Quién no debería conducir una moto?
¿Quién no debería conducir una motocicleta en nuestras carreteras? Yo diría que hay 2 clases de personas. Una es si tienes algún tipo de problema médico y no puedes conducir ese vehículo.
So I mean, that's crazy. It keeps our accent, and that sounds just like Amy. It keeps our accents. I mean, that's so scary to me. Okay. Went over YouTube, Crystal. Okay. So this is Crystal. It's great. When you log in, it's going to kind of tell you who you are. Right. And so focused, persistent, vigorous. Yes, that's me. 100%. Right. And it's creepy how accurate this is. But quickly, this is my marketing girl. Can y'all see the sidebar over here?
Yep.
I'm kind of getting cut off. Let me move my Zoom. And we can test somebody on the audience if they want to kick me in and see if it works, if they want to put it in the chat. But like, this is Rainey, right? So she's our community director does our grassroots stuff and our video host. And this is to a T. I mean, she's emotional, right? She's an encourager, approachable, cooperative, optimistic, expected behavior. She prefers to work in groups. She likes celebrating shared victories. She likes to create enthusiasm when we work on projects, right? This is one of my marketing girls. When I email or offer something new, make personal reference gestures, meeting with her, keep the discussion positive, be open to talk longer, right? Highlight shared victories. So sharing personal stories. So she loves to come in. Hey, we did a community service event. She loves when everybody's like, yay, for the firm. And so this can help me too when I'm like, if I'm doing, this is an employee, and this is off topic from what I taught, but let's say we want to, we need to correct an employee or do a quarterly review. We can sit down with them. How do I need to communicate with this person? Right. So I don't, maybe the way I talk to them, maybe I need to get my director of ops to sit down with me because I'm more in your face. That's just how I am. Right. Get to the point, get to the business.
Justin, can I jump in?
I mean, this is wild.
Sure. I want to add something because you showed me this tool at the conference and I've been using it for every meeting, for sales meetings, for hiring, like you suggested, for prospective employees. But one thing I found took it up another level. And I'm not good at I could never memorize the disc, like what's a D, what's an I, what's an S, what's a C. And I'm just going to share a screen here for 1 minute. I'll give it back to you.
Sure. You need me to stop?
Should be good. I think you can see my screen now.
Yeah.
So this is an awesome book by Merrick Rosenberg. And what he did is he translated the DISC to birds. And now I can understand DISC because I couldn't understand it before. So you and I are both here. You're a DI, I'm a D, we're dominant. We're eagles. We're direct and decisive. We're kind of like 10,000 foot people. We're competitive, daring, direct, problem solvers. Then your marketing girl was a parrot. She's interactive, influencing, inspirational, enthusiastic, inspiring, sociable. Your doves are typically your customer service people, your social workers, nurses. They're steady, supportive, sympathetic, patient, relaxed. And then your wise owls are the numbers people. You typically find your architects, your CPAs are the conscientious, concise, compliant, courteous. So now I've been using this tool now since I guess I met you about 2 months ago. And then with the birds, I can actually, I use the tool like you do, like this is a guy who runs the Florida Lawyers Network and boom, like I can just look at this and I know exactly how to communicate with him. And in my mind, I can just like, he's an eagle, this and that. So it's an incredibly powerful tool and I love it. And thank you for sharing. And I just want to give you back the bird book.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get that book, man, immediately for sure. That's awesome. But you're right. Yeah, you'll figure it out. You're like, what is that? What does the D mean? What does the S? Yeah. But this is we love using this, man. I mean, think about if you know how someone negotiates. I mean, like a defense lawyer or a mediator. A mediator is going to do this or do that. You can play it right back to them. The one problem, this was funny. One of my employees, because I was telling my staff about this, they said, "Oh, now we know how to talk to you." So it works both ways. So
that's
good. It's going to be good or bad. Depends what we're negotiating about.
No. That's really good because typically we're hard. The D's are hard to deal with. We're pretty dominant, correct?
And there's some self-reflection too when you start using this tool. You realize, wow, you have to, like you just said, we have to understand that because the more you know about yourself, the better you can, I think that's it. Unless we want to live test somebody on that tool, but I mean, it's Crystal knows it's awesome. That's not the only things I got in the system right now. I mean, what I'm working on, we could probably do a later meeting about it. A couple months. I'm working on like an internal knowledge chatbot. That's basically not trained with ChatGPT. We're going to train it on my whole YouTube channel, my website, our policy and procedure manuals on how we do things. And so that would be like an internal knowledge chat. So our own little ChatGPT. I'm working on that. and testing that. So that'll be cool when that's out. And basically, you know, if you know, when do we have off this year? Boom, it'll kicks it up in real time instead of having to find it. Or, you know, what is personal injury protection? If a paralegal's on the phone just doesn't remember, it'll pop up from our own sources. And they can say, hey, here's the link to that YouTube video that Justin shot. Go watch it if I didn't explain it correctly. So that's some cool, cool ways that we're using this, man. So but it's fire, man. And the AI stuff, don't get overwhelmed is one thing I'll leave everybody with. Figure out a couple tools. Hopefully it's some that I mentioned, and just start playing around with it and realize the impact it'll have on your business, and then slowly branch out, because this can get overwhelming as you go down the rabbit hole.
That's so awesome. And I really appreciate your slides. Like, they make it super clear. I want to ask you a million questions. I'm going to save some for the end, but I'm just going to ask you one.
I'll try to answer.
You said when you use ChatGPT and you ask it for questions and then you shoot your video, why do you want questions to answer in your videos?
Well, that's what people are searching for, right? I want them to show up in search, because I'm putting these out on YouTube. I'm putting them out on, and I'm linking them back to our website. And so that we're looking for unique ways that what people could be searching for that maybe I'm not going to get on. What is personal injury? What's a personal injury? What's the basic stuff that everybody says you should have. And you should still have those as a foundational question that you're answering. But I've shot so many damn videos, and I don't know what everybody's stage is in their, their media plans, and everybody should have videos, by the way. You missed out on that wave. But I'm always come up with some unique way to say, kind of saying the same things that hopefully somebody's searching, via question.
Yeah, no.
That answers your question.
It was a leading question, because I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And that's, we shoot a lot of videos with our clients, and we feed them the questions. So it's like, what do I do if I get hit by an Uber?
Right.
You try and find questions or new laws or changes in your state. And you answer those questions, like basically a Google search is a client doing a search because they want to figure out the answer. So that it's such a great strategy. And I love how you use, we haven't really used ChatGPT for that. So that's awesome. Anyways, why don't we get to Chris, and we'll come back with, I got a million more questions. I'm sure everybody else does. And maybe we'll do some more live demos, but Chris has been with Filevine for 8 years. He has a tremendous background in computer engineering and computer science at Utah Valley University and Texas A&M. He's been a consultant and a strategist, and now he's a futurist at Filevine. So without further ado, Chris, welcome aboard.
Hello. Hey, everyone. Happy to be here. Thanks, Jay, for having me. Justin, what an incredible presentation on all of the different ways you're using AI at your law firm. It's pretty awesome. And also, like, the facial stuff is really scary. It can take a picture. Like, some of the stuff you can just put a picture and it will make it talk, which is freaky. It's bananas. But yeah, I want to talk about Filevine and Filevine's strategy on AI. So let me share my screen with you guys. As Jay mentioned, I'm a senior developer and legal futurist at Filevine. As a legal futurist, our team focuses mainly on what's next in legal. So what a better opportunity to talk about AI, because I believe AI is what's next for legal. Around the office, around the conferences that I've been to, AI is very excitable. It's a very excitable topic. So lots of conversations, lots of concerns, but mainly, like, I think that because it's so accessible, it becomes a really interesting tool for everyone to leverage how they need to. So I want to talk a little bit about Filevine if you aren't familiar with Filevine. So, Filevine has it's basically a legal toolkit. So you have things like lead management, you have document management, document assembly, analytics, time and billing, e-signatures, contract management, and of course, matter and case management. So we believe that Filevine is the center of gravity for your law firm's data, which makes it really interesting because of how Filevine is embedded. It makes us uniquely positioned to leverage AI inside of our tools. In addition to AI, because this is a topic, I also want to mention that Filevine continues to invest heavily in non-AI development on all of its product lines. So we're not just developing in AI. We just released some new time and billing features, and we just launched custom statuses in our lead management platform, and we'll continue to develop in all of these areas. It's really been fun to kind of have a lot of these conversations around AI, but really the future of legal is you guys. Lawyers are the future of legal. It's not AI. I think that, the tooling that we bring to the table is all around making lawyers and legal workers more efficient. So, just as Justin mentioned, we don't believe that AI replaces legal work. It accelerates it. So AI, lawyers have a lot of work to do, more than they have hours in the day to utilize or to do that work. So efficiency wins. That's what this slide is about. So I'm a developer, and I have been for a long time. And several years ago, there were publications being posted in top journals about how lawyers were supposed to become developers. And some of you may remember that, some of you may not, but they were even talking about like, law school should start teaching CS or computer science. And of course, I'm sure some of you really took to that and did learn, development, but I think in general that didn't happen. And now what we're seeing is like a big topic about now lawyers are supposed to be prompt engineers and be able to, create all of these, advanced prompts inside of these AI tools. And we believe that lawyers should continue to focus on legal work and the relationships with their clients and not becoming prompt engineers. Let our development teams, let us develop those prompts for you and allow you to utilize those. So I think that AI will be involved in every stage of your legal work. One of my colleagues said it's a human and machine collaboration. So let the machines do what they do best. So they do really well at analysis and potential verification and task automation. And then, you guys as legal workers, the trust and the human interaction becomes even more important. So an AI-driven legal practice leverages that human interaction and trust even more now than they used to, because now they're more efficient. They can do that work. They can produce those demands much faster. And now they have a chance to be on the phone with the client more because they're not bogged down with the legal work. So let's talk about some of the things that Filevine has available now. And we call them different terms, but I'll try to jump into each of these as I can. I have screens open that I can show this. The first one's called AI Fields. AI Fields lives inside of your matter, inside of your case, and it can read OCR documents and leverage existing or predefined prompts to pull information out of that. So Justin talked about OCR data, and he uses that to drop into ChatGPT. We have this built into the tool. Nothing leaves the tool, and this is how we get around like sharing PII and HIPAA data, because we have enterprise agreements with all of the major AI vendors out there. So we're protected in that sense. So you can use our tools and know that you're safe. We also have DemandAi. So DemandAi is a partner. It's an AI-driven, partner-enabled solution where you can outsource your demand letters and have an AI-assisted system develop those demands within your own templates, within your own demand, restrictions and requirements. So you'll work with our partner teams who will create templates, and then when you're ready to go into your case and generate a demand, it goes right into a partner, and it doesn't leave our tool. So you're not downloading things and emailing them. It becomes a really, really interesting workflow that stays secure. And then finally, our AI blocks. This is mainly inside of our Outlaw product. So this is our contract management solution. So it can power summaries and descriptions inside of contracts, which is way awesome. So I'll jump in a little bit to give a little bit more detail around each of these. So DemandAi was our first release into the artificial intelligence arena. So the main drivers are and value adds are cost savings. So you don't have to draft your own demand letters, and you can avoid additional charges for edits and revisements because of you didn't get your demand created properly. The second is security. So it stays within our SOC 2 compliant, HIPAA compliant platform. So nothing leaves the fileverse is what we call it. Your data secured and sensitive customer information never leaves the platform. And then efficiency, like a lot of these, a lot of tools, take time, even if you outsource them. So efficiency becomes the name of the game here because we can leverage AI to assist our partners in writing these. It becomes really fast and you get great turnaround times. And plus, I was told in many jurisdictions, you can charge the client for the time, which is nice. Here's a little example of our AI fields. So this is how we keep things safe and secure. So you have 0-day retention, which basically means that the data is not retained in any of the AI toolings. So they don't get to index it. You don't have this problem of like sharing this information outside of the AI tooling. You have safe and responsible prompts designed by Filevine. So as you are creating these AI fields, this dropdown has a list of 30+ different prompt designs. the types of models that we're using reduce hallucinations, and you can point these prompts at depositions, medical records, accident reports, emails, motions, briefs, and much more, with virtually no limitation to the size of the document. So hundreds of pages, we have no problem in analyzing that data. And you can summarize that data, you can extract it, you can create additional data, and you can compare data with that. I'm going to jump into AI fields really fast to kind of show you what that looks like inside of the tool. So we're looking at a police report inside of this matter called Kane Elliott versus Emily Lippincott. These are both team members on the Legal Futurist team. Kane is my boss. If you have had the pleasure to be in one of his webinars, you don't want to miss those. And oftentimes Emily is there with him, and she is one of the leading experts, and recovering attorney is what she calls herself. So huge, love my team. I love the team that we work with. And this is something that Kane built out for one of his webinars, so I'm happy to share it. This area right up here is the document, and this is already preloaded, but essentially you can load up any document, and then what it's done here is used some pre-built prompts to pull a summary of the police report here on the left, and then the second report, which is our second prompt, which is even more interesting, is the report ambiguity. So you can do this against medical records, you can do this against depositions, but this really kind of lays out in the report ambiguity things that are unclear, things that, especially in like a deposition, it can identify like things that were said that are not consistent. They said it one way here and they said it a different way over here. It points those out to you so that you can jump in. The summary really is great for those who are trying to catch up on a case, so like if I needed to come in here and like there were 5 different police reports and a whole bunch of medical records, like I can come in and as a new case manager, as a new lawyer working on this particular matter, I can read this really fast and tell really fast what's happening and where this case is at. So, and some of you may or may not, be wondering, but like we can process these with 95% faster, or a percent speed proficiency over a human. So AI can do this much faster than a human, and it's almost just as accurate. So as we've compared this to what a human would do, it's just about as accurate, sometimes even more accurate than a human, which is very cool. So not only can this be done in a police report, but we also have these available inside of medical records, so it can identify injuries. As Justin talked a little bit about, we can pull treatment codes, we can pull other types of codes out of these records, and it can digest massive amounts of data. You don't have you virtually have no limitations. I can't say you don't have limitation, but it's pretty incredible the amount of data that it can digest. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. Let's not go to the new things first. Let's talk about AI inside of your contracts. So a lot of times with all of the legalese inside of the contracts, it becomes kind of a little bit overwhelming for those for people to kind of to understand and summarize it, and it takes human effort to do so. So what we've done inside of our Outlaw product, which is our contract management platform, we've given the ability to create your own AI blocks inside of the contract. So AI blocks can take data from other parts of the contract, and then utilizing prompts, which is over here in the AI instruction section, it can do things with those areas. So here we're asking it to summarize, but you can do multiple different types of instructions and leverage data inside the contract. And one thing that, if you're not familiar with this tool, is that this tool pulls data bidirectionally from Filevine. So as you're collecting information inside of Filevine, it's dropping that data inside of your contracts. And when you go to generate this information from inside of the Outlaw product, it's pulling that data in real time from Filevine. And also, if something changes, so if you had this as maybe something a client would maybe enter some information in, it can push that data back to Filevine for you. And then on top of that, all leveraging AI to summarize information, to pull out different pieces from different sections of the contract and help you understand what those are, from medical timelines to report summaries. We even have like the AI blocks inside of the contract, pulling and summarizing AI fields from Filevine. So you're using AI to then generate data from AI, which is a pretty interesting concept as well.
Chris, I just want to jump in, and I know you had one or two new products that you were going to talk about today, or things in the funnel. Did you get permission to share some of those?
I did, yeah.
Can you do it in like 2 minutes so we can take some questions?
Yeah,
we're getting a little tight on time. Thanks.
Of course. The first thing I'll share is Sidebar AI. So this is coming out. It's in beta, so I can share these things. So Sidebar AI today helps you with answering questions about Filevine. But the future state of this is you can start asking and getting answers about anything in your case. And we're marching that direction. It's not there today, but this has pre-built prompts. So this is kind of your way to chat with Filevine, which is way awesome. And then finally, also coming out is Immigration AI. This is a tool I have direct involvement in building. Same with Sidebar. So Immigration AI is a toolkit that helps attorneys who practice immigration. It has all of the USCIS forms. It does condensed questionnaires. You can send these questionnaires out to your client. It autofills all of the USCIS forms. You can also do document intake, which leverages AI to scrape data from things like passports and driver's licenses. It does a conflict preview where you can check against the data, like my legal documents, I'll say Christopher, but maybe I told my attorney that my name was Chris, so it pulled that conflict out and was able to detect it. So this goes out in beta August 1st. Happy to talk about this in more detail as you guys may have questions. So
that's super cool.
Thank you.
How much of that is AI and how much of that is just like machine learning or some kind of other, just sort of if this then that kind of basic computer stuff?
Yeah, so the document stuff leverages OCR, so it scans, and then over a period of time, it gets trained on where to locate different pieces of information within the document. So that's definitely AI driven. It is not generative AI, which is all of the big, things that people are talking about. No, it's not generating data, but it's reading data. It's understanding it. It knows that this is a first name. It knows that this particular piece of information is a last name.
But by the way, this would have saved us a little drama because I'm an immigrant from Canada, and my wife had 3 names that the agent uncovered. So her name is Bonnie Nicole, middle name, Bonnie Dash Nicole, and Bonnie Nicole first name on 3 different documents. So she had to go through an official name change to become a citizen. But we do have some questions, and I want to get quickly to a few of those. Thank you guys so much. That was such good stuff. So question from Lauren Howell. I guess this is for Justin. For the tasks you've described, how do you think ChatGPT compares to Spellbook, Harvey, Lexis Plus AI, and Westlaw's incorporation of Thought Trace? Is ChatGPT worth saving money on if you know how to properly leverage it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is, do you have the prompts that are spitting out the information that you use? I've looked at those other legal specific platforms. I mean, a lot of them are they just have open AI keys and they're building their own platform, leveraging they're leveraging ChatGPT. They just built their model and refined it. As you come up with what what prompts are kicking out, or at least on our side, within ChatGPT, remember, it gets smarter and smarter if you stay within that string. So it'll know what you're trying to do there. We have it. We're paying $20 for the premium version, and we have it with all our team members except well, I'll take that back. So my Hispanic team does have it in Mexico. My Philippines team does not. But I mean, it's $20 times, what am I paying? 20 people. So I think we're getting a lot more value than the $400. And I'm not sure what the prices are on Spellbook, Harvey, Lexis. Again, I think we said this too, who's going to win, right? As more users, maybe Filevine wins. I mean, we never know.
Chris,
hopefully, right, Chris?
How much does it cost for a computer with an NVIDIA chip?
Yeah, I've got one. I'm testing it. Follow me on YouTube and you'll see some of these videos. They're about $3,000, then buy a monitor. The key, you can't find them though, is the problem, because everybody's been buying them.
Yeah, between AI and Bitcoin, I mean, it's hard to find GPUs right now.
Yeah.
Question from Joseph Cheney. With an enterprise agreement or by using a third party, who has a BAA? With OpenAI, you're sheltered from HIPAA. This is how we do it. I think case law and other products must have some similar arrangements they offer. I don't know what a BAA is. So do you understand the question?
Yeah, it's a specific agreement between 2 parties that protect the data. So it's basically like in order to share HIPAA and PII information, you have to have a BAA in place. So he's right. So larger companies that have these tools, I don't know which ones have this type of agreement, but those are the ones that are going to be able to protect your HIPAA data, because otherwise they'll potentially use it to train their AIs on. You have to be careful of that.
Question for Chris. What do you do when OCR quality is bad? And
Yeah.
OCR is online character
Optical
character.
Yeah. Yeah, we, at Filevine, we use the best in breed OCR. The reason why the OCR could be bad is because the originating document is bad. And I put some really bad stuff in our OCR and it does a really good job. I think that where OCR has trouble today is probably in handwriting. And that's probably the next frontier for Filevine, especially around OCR, is handwritten data, handwritten information. So yeah, what do you do when OCR quality is bad? I think you have to go back to the originating document it's like bad information in, bad information out.
Well, and as more medical providers keep putting everything electronic, that's going to go away. Because I mean, I see that, like if we get like some podunk family practitioner, on the outskirts of Myrtle Beach that handwrites their stuff, that's when we're seeing that. And of course, like Chris said, you got to go back to the real document. But as more people are required, I mean, they're all supposed to be doing it now anyway. Put it up there in the cloud, then we can all get electronic. I think that problem goes away. And all this stuff keeps getting better and better over time.
Well, thanks, guys. We're at time, so we'll wrap for today. But if anyone has more questions, you can find me anywhere at Jay Berkowitz or 10 Golden Rules. I'm Jay Berkowitz on LinkedIn and Twitter, or I guess now it's called X. Chris, where do we find you?
I'm at chris@filevine.com.
It's easy. And Justin?
Well, first, send me all your South Carolina referrals. I'll be glad to help you. We'll work any way that you want to seem fit, stay involved, or let us take the whole case. Justin at justiceislovely.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. And for those of you watching sometime in the future, give us a shout out on socials or by email. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Jake.